Is this started?
Hello.
Hi. It's good to see you.
It's good to be here.
Yeah. All right. So I thought to start this visit, I would just ask you what you feel like the most important thing for us to talk about today would be.
I guess I'm asking for the proper tools to handle my relationship, and if those don't work, then maybe how to leave my relationship.
Right. Yeah, so that was something that you mentioned last time, and it sounds like it's important for you to explore your relationship, and before you had said you weren't sure if you wanted to stay or if potentially leaving the relationship would be the right decision, so maybe that's something we could delve into a little bit more.
Yeah, that would be helpful.
Okay, great. So first, maybe we could go back to, you mentioned that you guys have been fighting, and maybe if you could let me, or tell me like when that started. When did you guys start fighting?
I mean, we've always like bickered back and forth, but just after, I don't know, within the past 2 years, it's been progressively getting worse. Yeah.
Okay. So when you say that it's been getting worse, what does that look like?
A lot of yelling. Kind of a lot of hurtful words back and forth that haven't been used before. He's never hit me, but it seems like if things keep getting worse, it might progress to that, which is kind of scary.
That sounds like that would be frightening to have someone, things be getting heated enough that you're worried about your safety. And you mentioned that there's been hurtful things that are being thrown around, and I guess I just wonder how that makes you feel after you guys have been fighting, or those things have been said.
It makes me feel that if I was with someone for that long, that they would know me well enough to not want to hurt me in that way. And to like, yeah, just that if we're like devoting ourselves to each other, why is that person making me feel worse about myself than propping me up to make me feel better about myself? Yeah.
It sounds like that you would be hoping for a relationship where the person's building you up and supporting you, but right now it feels like your partner might not care about you because of the way that they've been treating you.
Yeah, no, I think he's very caught up in his own life, and if things don't go his way, then it's like everything's about him. Yeah.
Sounds like it'd be really hard.
Yeah, it is.
So you said that things he's kind of caught up in his own stuff, and I'm kind of curious what that kind of looks like.
Well, he goes to work during the day from 9 to 5, and then when he gets home, he just wants to relax. And he's not helpful around the house at all. He doesn't ask me about my day. It's always me asking him about his. Just stuff like that, yeah.
Things like that would be frustrating and feel like he wasn't supporting you or being caring towards you.
Yeah.
So it sounds like there are certain things that maybe will lead to a fight. Or I guess I'm wondering if there are certain things for you that you have noticed will start fights between the two.
Yeah, I'm definitely half of to blame for fights, and yet fights take two people, but they're usually over, me getting frustrated with him not helping out, or him not asking about my day, and then when I go to talk to him about it, he gets angry very fast, and then it just turns into us yelling back and forth. It progresses really quickly.
Okay. So it sounds like between the two of you guys that sometimes when he is not doing things to make you feel cared about, that's frustrating for you. And the way that you've tried to address it in the past has just been to talk to him about it. Mm-hmm. But then that will sometimes lead to fights.
Yeah, and it's like I used to be able to say things to him without it being, turning into something larger. But it's just been within the past 2 years that it's not the same as how it used to be, and I think I just want it to go back to how it used to be, but I don't know if that's possible.
I'm wondering if there was anything that happened 2 years ago, like with him or with you, that might have precipitated that change.
I think just the stress with our kids. They're both very young, and it's not easy having 2 young children running around, so I think that's extra stress.
Yeah, and I think you mentioned stress in our last visit together, that was something that was a struggle for you, that you felt like you were under a lot of stress.
Yeah. I feel like I'm doing everything by myself.
Right, so it sounds like you really don't feel supported by your partner right now.
Not really.
I'm wondering a little bit, you were saying how, I think in our last visit you mentioned something about your partner would get jealous about things, or could you tell me a little bit more about that?
Yeah, so that's been kind of a new fight recently, is like I'll be off somewhere, and I won't be home when he gets home from work, or I'll have other plans and he'll get jealous with that. He'll accuse me of cheating on him, like we'll go as far as that, and he's got nothing to be jealous of. I'm not seeing anybody else, so it's like, it just seems like it's controlling over my time. Like, I don't know.
Yeah, so you feel like he wants you to be where he wants you to be, basically.
Yeah, and like home, what he's used to, he gets home from work and then is able to relax with me going around him and getting stuff done. But if I have plans, it's not okay.
I'm wondering how that usually makes you feel.
Frustrated with him. When I try to bring it up to him, he just starts another fight. So it's like, what can I tell him that will make him see it from my side? Yeah, 'cause it's just like he won't step into my shoes to see like what my day is like, or what I would feel about his actions.
That would be really frustrating. And I think it can be really difficult when, you can't control other people, and so we're doing our best, or, it sounds like you're trying and making attempts to address issues, and then not necessarily getting a response that's helpful from him, right? So I can see that being really hard.
It is, yeah.
I'm kind of curious too, with having that experience of trying to address the problems. Have there been other ways in the past that you've come to him? It sounds like talking was something that worked in the past, and then it hasn't been very successful. Were there any other things
that were successful in the past? I mean, not really. I feel like any time that we've had a fight, like earlier on in our relationship, it was like we just kind of said a few words back and forth and settled it. And, you know, sometimes one of us would leave and just set off some steam, and that's been happening now, but it makes it worse. It seems like it's like more of a separation than just going to go take our own space and come right back. So that's why I'm coming to you, because I don't know how else to handle the situation, and I don't know if it's time for me to just end the relationship.
Is there a point or something that would happen that would make you sure that you need to leave the relationship?
If a fight ever progressed to where he is physically hurting me or my kids, yeah. But I don't know, it also makes me think about it now, although I don't think that he would hurt us. I still just don't feel satisfied with him screaming at me in front of them and not doing everything in his ability to parent. I feel like I'm doing most of parenting, and he gets to play with them and have fun. And yeah, so I don't know. Yeah, it's difficult.
Yeah, no, it's really hard. So it sounds like you're not sure still that leaving is what you want to do.
I mean, it's just hard because I've been in this relationship for so long, I can't imagine my life without him. And it's hard to kind of see what life would be like without him. And I know that it would be like a really big struggle if I left, and would have to hold myself from going back.
Yeah, it sounds like when it's someone that you care about and you've been together for so long, that would be a big change, and that can be kind of scary. Yeah, I'm curious. So, if you feel like, I guess I want to make sure that I know how you're feeling, and you're not sure that you want to leave, but you definitely don't feel satisfied with how things are at the moment. So, do you feel like if there was a way to lessen the amount of fighting that you guys had, or what, I guess maybe a better question would be, what things would need to change when you felt like it was worth staying in the relationship?
He'd have to put more work into the relationship. We need to handle conflict with, I don't know, an open mind, and not just be, you can't just be so closed off all the time. Yeah, he's got to see things from my perspective.
It's challenging in the sense that since we can't control other people, that some of those things sound like they would be kind of on his plate to make those changes.
And I mean, I guess I'm not perfect either. And I guess I know that I'm not going to find ways to change him, but I guess what I can do for me that might help go towards that. Yeah.
Is there anything that you think that you could be doing differently that would make things better?
I'm sure there is. I could, I don't know, because I've tried talking to him, and that turns into fights. But maybe it's the way that I'm talking to him. Maybe I'm getting frustrated at him before I can even hear his side. Yeah, maybe just listening to how my words are coming out and trying to change it is, I don't know, more positive, even though it's not. If that makes any sense.
Yeah. Sounds like you would consider maybe how you approach him when you're speaking to him. I'm curious if you feel like you do approach him in a way, like it sounded like you were wondering out loud, like maybe I'm doing this. So do you feel like generally when you do approach him, it's in a way that is kind of riling him up, or do you feel like you usually approach things?
I think more now, like recently, I have been, just because it's getting to be too much where I'm already just pissed off. Yeah, I'd say that I could definitely handle some fights better.
So do you think that might be something that would be helpful to try going forward? Maybe the next time there's a fight, if you thought about how you were sort of approaching that, or making sure that you're in a calm place.
Yeah,
Do you think that would be
I think maybe like thinking of what I'm going to say before I say it. Yeah.
Does that feel like something you would be able to do, or is it?
I could definitely try it for the next time we disagree on something. Yeah.
Yeah, I just want to make sure that you know, I mean, it sounds like you're not quite sure of what, you know, it sounds like you want. I want to make sure I understand. Yeah, I think that you still feel like it would be worth, if there were some things to do that could potentially improve your relationship, that it would be worth doing that before maybe pursuing the idea of a relationship. Does that seem accurate?
Yeah.
So it sounds like potentially thinking about how you are going into conversations that might lead to an argument, that might be something that could help.
Yeah. And then if I try that and that doesn't work,
We can revisit
yeah.
what that looks like.
And maybe it's just another sign that maybe I should do something else about this whole thing. Yeah.
Yeah. If that sounds like you're comfortable with that, you think that it's worth trying.
Yeah.
It could be one thing to try, and then we can just keep revisiting and seeing what works and what doesn't. One thing that I would like to maybe explore a little more is you did mention that he hasn't hit you, and that you do get worried though that if things get worse. And I just want to make sure that you are always safe, and if it ever got to that point, that maybe I don't know if you would be willing to maybe look at a scenario for that and kind of come up with a plan so that you would know what to do, or just have, a plan in place for what that would look like.
Yeah.
Just to make sure that you feel.
I hope I would never have to use it, but
Yeah.
it might be helpful.
But I think sometimes being prepared is not a bad thing. So
Yeah.
So maybe we can just sort of have like a hypothetical scenario where you guys get into a fight and it's getting really heated, and I guess we can start maybe with a scenario that, it feels like things are getting more heated than they have been ever before, and you're kind of worried. Like, what would your kind of first step, do you think, be?
Maybe step back and away from him. That would be the first step.
Yeah, so creating space, physical space between you guys.
If that doesn't work, grab the kids and get out.
So leaving your apartment, actually getting out of the space. Where do you think that you would go?
I could call a few people. I could call. I could call a friend. I could call my one brother. but I could only stay there for probably like 24 hours. I mean, yeah.
So it sounds like that would be maybe a short-term plan in the moment and feeling like you're maybe unsafe. Maybe just to get out of that space and find someone like a friend or your brother. But that wouldn't necessarily be like a long-term solution because it sounds like if you were leaving, you know, hopefully you would have like your phone, but you wouldn't have like clothes to, you wouldn't necessarily be able to grab like a bag or things like that. Which would make it hard to stay somewhere longer, other than just whether your family or friend is.
Yeah, I would have to go back for
Yeah.
something and find something more permanent, but yeah.
So that's like a short-term plan.
I guess that's another reason that I haven't left quite yet is because I don't really have the support outside of it for a place to stay, and I'm unemployed. So I don't know where I would stay other than a shelter, and all the shelters are full, so.
It can be really hard. If that was something that you wanted to do, or if you want to even just talk that through to see what it would look like if you decided, even though like I know you haven't decided one way or the other, but if you were to decide, hey, I want to leave, like what are some things that you know would be helpful in that process, or that would make that feel more attainable than it does right now.
I think I would just need, if I end up deciding to just leave, I think that's a much more difficult process to go over. But I mean, I haven't decided what I want to do next, so
So we need to go into that level of that's okay. Something else, this is slightly just along the same plans of like safety and making sure you're safe. I'm curious if there are like any firearms in your household or weapons in general.
There's no firearms, but there's knives and all of that,
That's just something that's good to think about, and when just thinking about your safety and your family's safety, and that if things do get heated, just knowing what's around and keep you safe. So it sounds like that's at least one thing. There aren't any firearms in the house, which is just comforting in a way, but also it doesn't sound like things have gotten to that point.
No, they haven't. So thank God,
Let's see. So I'm kind of curious to, I guess you sort of addressed this before, but just generally, like, how do you feel like these fights make you feel, or how have they impacted you?
I don't feel supported like I should. It's like I feel like I need him, but he doesn't follow through with it. And then there's some good times that like bring me right back, and then there's bad times and then there's good times. Like it's just a roller coaster. Yeah. Stress and frustration and jealousy with him. It's just a lot.
It sounds like it's been contributing to your overall stress levels. So you kind of mentioned too, like having to take care of the kids, and you also kind of talked to me about the methadone, and so handling your own health and taking care of yourself.
Right. I just feel like I'm by myself whenever. Yeah. Yeah.
I'm wondering when you feel kind of like you're on your own, if there's anything that sort of helps you get through. It sounds like you're dealing with a lot of stuff lately.
Like, although my kids cause a lot of stress in my life, like, that's a lot of good stress. Yeah, I would say they always make it better.
Sounds like your kids mean a lot to you.
Yeah.
They're really important. Yeah, I'm kind of curious too. I think we talked about last time just that you felt like you weren't able to sort of take care of yourself, or just, you know, you wanted to be able to do that more, or just do things to feel better. So I'm wondering if there has been maybe before you had kids, or just a time when you were feeling kind of more like yourself, things that made you feel better.
Yeah. I think I might have mentioned this in the last session, but I do like to paint. I just haven't really had the money recently to do that, and yeah, I mean, I'd say like going outside and enjoying like a nice day is something that I haven't really been able to do recently. Just simple things like hiking and swimming and all that stuff. I just, yeah, I don't think I've been taking care of myself the best with like my physical health. Yeah, that would probably make me feel a little bit better.
Do you think that does that feel like something that you could work on right now, or with the other stress that you have?
I guess if I find a sitter, or like ask my brother to take care of kids for a little bit and just go take time for myself, that would be really helpful, especially when I don't know, just kind of help me clear my mind before I even talk to my boyfriend. And that might be helpful before any fight could happen. Yeah.
Okay, so it sounds like sometimes having someone to be able to watch your kids, or having that extra support, might make you feel better, which in turn might improve the relationship with
Yeah,
your
I
boyfriend.
think that might help.
Okay.
I feel like I'm always inside watching the boys and I'm just not getting any sunlight.
Yeah, that's hard. So has your brother been someone that's been watched your kids before? Do you feel?
Yeah.
Is there anyone else that?
Not really. The rest of my family is in good support. And I have some friends with kids, but I would always ask my brother before I asked them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Have you ever looked into any kind of like daycare programs or things like that?
Not really, just because of money purposes. I mean, I could apply for benefits, but I don't really have the energy to do that. Yeah.
Do you think it would be helpful? Because I think there are some resources out there towards childcare, depending on your situation. Do you think that would be something you'd be interested in looking into?
Yeah. Definitely.
I can kind of look into that and let you know if there's anything that would be helpful for you. One thing that I think I forgot to ask you that might be helpful for this. what is your insurance? What is your insurance?
For medical, I have Medicaid.
Okay.
So I don't know if that would help me with childcare. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm not sure. I guess the insurance might not directly help, but I think that just helps me get an idea of, if you're eligible for Medicaid, there might be other things that you'd be eligible for too. I think something that a colleague of mine mentioned was Head Start, which is an early education program. So I don't know all the requirements for that, so I would look into it and get back to you. But
That would be helpful.
if you think, that it sounds like, especially with you saying you feel kind of on your own, just having, even if it's maybe not your partner, that's the one taking care of the kids. If you have someone that you could, have that time for yourself and have the kids be watched by someone, maybe sometimes your brother, but he can't do it all the time.
Right.
Just having that extra support might just
That
give
would
you
be really
space.
helpful.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
So we can look into that. And then I guess I know you mentioned in our last appointment too that the methadone clinic and that's not a priority for you because you have other things that are more pressing, but
Yeah.
I don't know if that's something we would want to, if there's anything, I mean, if it's just that, oh no, I don't really want to make a change with that, or if there's anything that you think would be helpful.
I mean, eventually I would like to be off of methadone, off of like all substances completely, but I don't know, I had once asked somebody at the clinic, like, if I could start lowering my dosages, is that the right word? Doses? And they said, I don't know, they kind of went around the question and didn't really help me out with that. And I have a friend who's also on methadone, and she just talks about how they're legal drug dealers. So, I just don't know if it's going to happen very soon, if it will ever happen. So, I don't know, I feel kind of discouraged about it, but it's not like my number one priority. I think my number one priority is to figure out my relationship, but yeah, I don't know.
That's right.
Yeah.
I guess I was wondering if it was, like, do you have a primary care physician, and did they refer you to the clinic, or is that something that you just...
It was my, I don't know.
Yeah.
Yes, I do have a primary care physician.
Okay. So
Yeah.
I know you had mentioned a doctor that had, maybe it was one of the doctors that, like you're saying, that was just really negative and very unsupportive towards you. When you asked about it, they were just kind of shut you down. It was really frustrating. So I was wondering, I wanted to clarify if that was your primary care physician or someone else, in the case that you wanted to address that with someone. If maybe part of that would be finding a different doctor who might be more supportive. Since they weren't supportive of you.
Yeah.
But we can maybe not go into that if that's not something you feel strongly about.
I mean, I just don't think it's a problem we're going to be able to tackle very soon. Yeah. It's annoying to be on, but it's not the worst thing ever. And like, I do feel health-wise, and it's obviously better than taking opioids. So it's fine at the moment. It's not putting that much more stress on me. It's just like eventually I would like to be off of it. Yeah. Just so I don't have to keep going to the clinic and I just like to be independent from it.
So it sounds like I was gonna ask. Well, I'll still ask. Like you mentioned it being annoying, so I'm curious. What about it makes it particularly? It sounds like.
Just going there every morning, finding a ride to go there. Yeah. It's just not easy to like pack myself up and my kids up to go and then come back. It's just really inconvenient. Yeah. I think the inconvenience of it.
I can look into that as well. I had a colleague mention that sometimes, depending on the clinic, you can get, I'm not sure about this, so I will not make promises that I don't know, but that there might be a way that you can make that more convenient, but I'm not sure actually how that would work, so I don't want to promise you anything that I don't know, and I don't want to talk about things that I don't really understand, so it sounds like that's been frustrating, and if there was a way to make that easier, it would be helpful, just with your health trends.
Definitely.
But
Definitely.
I don't necessarily know what that would look like. I'm kind of we kind of talked about one thing that was a barrier for you if in the future you decided you wanted to leave would be that you're currently unemployed, and I can't remember now when you mentioned before you had worked before your kids and then you just haven't been working since having your kids. Is that right?
Yeah.
Okay. And that was just because of needing to take care of your kids. It's kind of too hard to juggle work. And,
Yeah.
I was just curious about that. Is that something that if you had childcare like during the day, would you be interested in going back to work?
Yeah,
or-
definitely.
Okay.
I think it would keep me busy and, again, make myself a little bit more independent. Yeah.
Okay. So, are there any jobs that you would be interested in?
I mean, my only experience is like service industry, minimum wage stuff. So, I mean, there's nothing like really big that I'd be interested in right away. I think I would just maybe restaurant work. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. So that sounds like something that, if you could get childcare, maybe that would be the next step for you.
Yeah.
I'm curious. In our last visit to, you mentioned your family and that with your parents especially and your other brother that are currently dealing with substance use issues, that those relationships are kind of hard. Does that feel like something that you want to look into more?
I mean, I feel like my parents have always been not the best influences on me and my brothers. I know that with them being the age that they are, how much can actually change for them. And I've kind of come to terms with the fact that I'm never going to be, that we're never going to be a perfect family. Yeah, I don't see really any change happening there, and I also don't want to be around them all the time if they're going to continue to use substances and be lazy and I shouldn't use that they're being lazy, because they're not. They're just, I just don't think that I don't think that they want to get help. And yeah.
Yeah. It
It's
sounds
tough.
yeah.
I could go
Right.
into it for a really long time. Just, I know that it's a disease, but it's just like, it's hard on our family, and I'd rather just be away from it. Yeah. And I can't have my kids around it.
Yeah, it sounds like that would be hard, not only for your kids, but for you, just knowing that, you know, you've dealt with the substance use in the past, and that, you know, you've gotten to the place that you're at now, and that, you know, it's not something you want your kids to be around, but I think for you it's also something that you don't want in your life in general.
Yeah, and they've tried getting help before, and it hasn't worked, and it's just every time it doesn't work, it's a little bit more discouraging. And you know, when, like, I feel like when family members are dealing with that, it's like at one point you just have to say, like, I can't do it anymore. And I said that a while ago. So I just, yeah, we're just not very close.
Yeah. That's fair. That's really good though.
Yeah.
I'm curious. So it sounds like you have your brother who's also like sober now, and that he's pretty supportive, and then you've got a few friends. Is there anyone like else that you feel is supportive in your life, or?
Brother, I have a few friends here and there, but I mean, my main support was my boyfriend, and it's just like not as good as it used to be. And then my kids.
Yeah. Okay. So your kids are support for you.
Yeah.
Yeah. Is that something that you feel like, you know, if there is maybe chances to meet new people, or make new friends or things like that, would that, do you think, be helpful for you, or?
Yeah, I think so. I just don't know what I would do and when I would do it. Yeah.
So there might be some barriers there, just
Yeah.
time-wise, and again, childcare being significant thing. So I'm curious if you've ever had any. I sometimes with like methadone, taking methadone, there's other like therapies or things that can go along with that. And I'm curious if there was anything that you'd done in the past.
I've done a group therapy before. And there are some helpful people there, but I don't know. I've only done it a few times, and maybe I can take more of those classes so that I can start building relationships with people in them. But yeah, I just haven't really thought about making friends from group therapy.
Yeah, I mean, it's if it seemed like something that would be helpful for you, I guess I know that the methadone itself might not be your top priority, but that could maybe doing that would give you just other supports or just other people in your life, if it's something that was helpful in the past, if you felt supported there.
It'd also not make that such a, I don't know, inefficient experience. Like, if I met people that were also using it, carpool or something like that, so I could get a ride.
True.
Yeah.
That's a really good idea.
Yeah.
Yeah. It seems like I know that you've been going through a lot, but it seems like you have a lot of inner strength and a lot of strength just for yourself, and, you know, getting taking care of your kids, getting help for yourself, and all those things takes a lot of effort, and I know it's hard. So it's really just great that you're here.
Thanks. Things to start falling into place more than going all over the place. Yeah.
Do you feel like there's anything else that is pressing that you really want to talk about while we're here?
No, not really. Just, yeah. I mean, I guess I need to just work on myself and de-stressing so that I can be a better life partner and kind of go from there. Yeah.
Okay. So it sounds like some of the next steps for you are just working on your own stress and taking care of yourself as best you can, and then maybe being more mindful of how you're approaching situations with your partner to see if if the part that you play, if that will make a difference in the future, and then that's something that we can revisit.
Yeah.
Just to kind of keep processing and keep working through.
We can see how it goes for our next session.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I'll be looking into other resources for you around childcare and other supports, because I think that sounds like something that's
that would be super
a
helpful.
barrier for you with just being able to take care of yourself in the ways that you would like to. So.
Yeah, that would be great. Great.
Well, it's good to see you again.
Yeah, you
I'm
too.
looking forward to our next session. And have a great rest of your week.
Yeah, I will try.
Yeah.
I will try not to fight. I kept noticing my shoe.